game. I believe in you, that's what he'll say. Nice and kind, leading cobalt ice. He's a blue, cute, and deadly little guy. Seeing through the fog, old gods he's slayed. Go7, 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 Go7. Go7, 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 Go7. Go7, king of the game. I believe in you, that's what he'll say. Nice and kind, leading cobalt ice. He's a blue, cute, and deadly little guy. Seeing through the fog, old gods he's slayed. Go7, 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 Go7. Go7, 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 Go7. Go7, king of the game. I believe in you, that's what he'll say. Nice and kind, leading cobalt ice. He's a blue, cute, and deadly little guy. Seeing through the fog, old gods he's slayed. Go7, 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 Go7. Go7, 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 Go7.
Hello, hello, hello. Boop, boopity boop. Hey everybody, Go7, King of the Penguins here, and there's time for an intro. You've only got an hour. Go, go, go. Okay. I'm hopping to it. It's true. I'm a sleepy penguin. I'm taking an early night. But we can definitely get through some games here. I also need to turn that off. Turn on the music. There we go. My game improved. Fluffy's struggling. Oh no! I saw when I posted my stream, the Advanced Wars by Web Discord, that DPSI had a live league stream apparently, which is amazing. Here we go. Slyfox, a new submitter, versus Mr. Warren Buffett. Zoom. Get to see Fred and everything. This looks like it's stolen seconds. Is that right? No. This is stolen eras. So there's something different about this version. Oh, okay. Well, I know there's less mountains over here. There's now a pipe seam. I'm not sure if this part of the map needed to be revised. I guess it saw very little action. This is still going to be the most cursed property in the whole world. Oh, you've got a different route down here, though, I guess. With your starting infantry. We're capturing down this way. The middle looks very similar with just some forests cut out, so it's going to make it harder to camp in there, I guess. This forest is still... Oh, and okay, and this forest no longer covers a central property, so that's also a big change. Artillery rushes aren't going to be as good. You played with Sammy for the first time and she is so fun. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed. And it's true, the blobs are out. I don't think I can change people to the blobs. Can I? I don't see it. So, the replay viewer doesn't have them yet. How do I know the other map so well? That was the first Advanced Wars by Web map I ever played on with Stolen Seconds. Your Kindle? Yeah, Kindle should be pretty good. Let's see how they go. My first matchup on this map was Fog. This is before Global League. It was against my friend 42. It was Fog, I was Andy, and he was Lash. So this is almost the same matchup. That was Andy over here. And it wasn't this map, it was the previous version of this map. Yeah, so we're moving on out. Looks like we're delaying going to the airport up here, which is fine. You can go for the airport quickly because these will be like nice capture chains, or you can go for the more forward properties first. The advantage of going for the forward properties is that you probably won't get interrupted if you go for them quickly. And these back properties, they'll always be there. Like, your opponent's not going to beat you to these properties, but it's nice to have a nice capture chain. It's nice to have that tied up, get the airport quickly. You can do some strats there, but it's all good. We have a slight deviation here where Kindle's going more outwards, and Slyfox has got the airport coming online. For the fast tank for MrWBuffet going out on the 2-base side, just like Slyfox. They both go for the exact same tank timing and moving out. The middle is going to be something that you'll want to capture very early. Ooh, MrWBuffet's going for a city skip. I like it. By walking past this city, it guarantees that the city can get captured pretty quickly. I think that was a good play. We'll see if Slyfox does the same thing. Doesn't look like it, so we're going to go for this capture. It may or may not end up mattering. We'll find out. We have a recon out of MrWBuffet on the 1-base side. Huge delay on this airport and city. In fact, I don't like this recon at all if it means that you're delaying 2 properties here. You just don't have all the infantry you need on that front yet. Okay, so I would expect MrWBuffet is probably going to start falling behind in economy pretty soon here, just because of the capture choices here. Like, this one's been rushed out towards the middle. So the thing about these contested properties is during the start of the game, it's going to not help you, right? Like, if you capture a contested property or deny a property, or like take one of your opponent's properties very early on, that's not going to end up mattering until all the other properties have been captured and your opponent then can't get that property. So if you end up delaying these properties for too long to go after contested properties, you can sometimes just kind of die early on, because you'll be slowing down your early game economy for like trying to get a much more advantaged late game economy. But the early game economy is still very important. So if you don't have it, you'll just kind of get run over, and then you'll lose the properties that you snatched up early. Warning, do not upload a game featuring blobs until the program is updated. It will crash the replay viewer and make it unusable until a fix gets pushed out. That would be horrible. Hello, Shoop. Okay, we have our interrupt in the center. This tank does not actually cover this, so things are looking fairly decent for Slyfox. MrWBuffet would love, absolutely love, if this tank could strike from this city. It can't. So it might feel a little dangerous to go in right now. But we'll see how MrWBuffet feels. Okay, it gets the first strike. It is nice. Knocks it down to 4. I think there's a chance it would only knock it down to 5. In which case, MrWBuffet would probably be a little sad, because Andy can just kind of run away with it for a bit. He can fully heal and everything. Okay. Capture here. Goes for this capture. So far, the only contested property that MrWBuffet's going to get potentially is this one. If I suspect Andy's going to go tank, hits recon. Recon finishes off recon, which will then reveal this city, and then this infantry can just interrupt. And if that happens, MrWBuffet will have no advantages in terms of contested properties. And that is exactly what happens. And such is the danger with rushing these. I did say that these are like really important to capture, but normally, or in the previous version of the map, you had some forests nearby that you could use artillery to lock these down. It's not my fault. I'm sorry, Steeler. Why, don't I have Secret Tech 3 added? Secret Tech 2 is something I will add in the future that Steeler has. It just doesn't work on the replay viewer, so I'll have to cover it on the website. Okay, so Kindle has gotten some infantry kills out of these property interrupts, which isn't bad. We do have this nasty little copter strike. If I'm Andy, I would definitely be considering copter strike, tank finish off, and then have more tanks come in range. But it's okay to just strike from the city. Be like, you're very unlikely to have an anti-air ready. Ooh, okay, well, I don't like that. Definitely, I prefer having the copter here strike and then the tank strikes from the city. Don't really like having the injured tank being the one that's forward. Definitely way too much of an overextension. I wouldn't go for this capture either. You can already see that there's at least 2 infantry in range to interrupt, so you might as well just keep the infantry safe and wait until you have some more backup. So you can make this a nice and secure capture. Andy's going for the anti-air right now. Unbeknownst to Andy, this airport still isn't online. MrWBuffet really doesn't want to send an infantry up here to go for these captures. Wants this one to go and go for these ones, which I guess adds more value to this infantry, but it slows down the economy by quite a bit. Because like right now, Andy ended that turn with 19k, and MrWBuffet doesn't have a single capture currently running. So it's just going to be down 2k at the end of this turn. Rest in peace, tank. We knew you well. Okay. Still down 2k, but 2 captures going on. So it's going to slightly catch up there. So Andy's going to get another capture in here. We'll see how Andy decides to go about this. There could probably be some sneaky shenanigans that can try and get the copter in and protect it from the anti-air. That's not one of them, but that's okay. It's more of a gung-ho, go get him copter move. It might result in the anti-air getting killed off if it goes after the copter. We have an artillery. So usually I would not recommend going for an, and I don't recommend it here. I would not recommend going for an artillery when you have an ongoing brawl, just because they're slower and they take a whole turn to set up. So, while if this is like a tank, it can move here or here and then immediately be helping on the turn after. The artillery has to go here and then it has to go over here, and then it doesn't get to a fire until the following turn. And it wouldn't go there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to here, and they wouldn't be able to fire until the following turn, and it's vulnerable in the brawl of just getting broken through and taken out. So it's something that you would preemptively like to have for a brawl, or if you think you're going to have to fall back from a brawl, then it makes more sense to build it, because the artillery can move up and then you move your units backwards towards it. The more annoying and dull already locks. Yeah, well, I would typically say you'd want when you're later infantry to go back first to this city and have an earlier infantry go for these two for sure. Yeah. Rest in peace, copter. We knew you well. That's your eagle or grit. Even Grit isn't super happy about reinforcing infantry. Oh, that's right. I have a Go7 game I can show. Okay, I'll show that too. It'll be a short one. Ooh, nice surround on this tank. And he kind of just getting wiped out in the center there. The tank does live at 1. So Andy could go for a super to try and heal it up. And does do so. All the way back up to 6. Bop. The tank survives at 1. Infantry finishes it off. And I assume we're going to have tank. Oh, it's tank hit tank. Okay. Well, it would probably behoove Andy to stand on this city. I think it's probably best to just have the anti-air go into the city and kill off this infantry. You can just let this capture go through. It's not worth losing an anti-air to go for an interrupt here. You're basically saying that you think, because it's against Kindle, so a tank stands on the city and one-shots your anti-air essentially. So you're saying like this interrupt is worth 8,000 in value, which I would question. Well, okay, it does live at 2. Oh, it lives. Okay, well, if it lives at 1 and you're Andy, that does help your case quite a bit. Little infantry brawl going on over here. Andy should probably fall back at this point. Yep, into the forest. Strike up here. Need to capture. Needs 6, but it does mean if Andy gets a power or something, the city will be his. Falling back a tiny bit. Go after a strike there. Do approve of falling back. Falling back into a medium tank also works nicely. Recon gets the kill there, which is pretty nasty for Andy because now there's not going to be any, or pretty shortly there won't be any defending infantry for this city. Ooh. Anti-air goes in for the kill there. We'll see if Kindle's able to I don't know if Kindle really wants to dive in here at all. So that's going to be a very favorable trade for Andy if this artillery goes off. And Andy did a good job of not really standing on cities here, except for this guy. On this tank. This tank shouldn't have been on this stage. And this tank. Okay, never mind. I take it back. Andy did stand on a bunch of cities with full health units. Artillery gets spotted, but it's spotted by the last vehicle in the area. Yeah, huge repair costs there. An unfortunate situation. Surprised we didn't have the anti-air taken out, but it's okay. In this case, I wouldn't put the infantry on the city. I'd put the infantry right here, so it's harder to reveal the artillery and attack it. You don't really care too much if this guy gets hit. Okay, Kindle's actually doing really well. Unit value-wise, unit count, Andy's a little bit ahead, but at the end of Andy's turn, Kindle was ahead in unit value, which is very strong. It's just that it must be just a huge tank count. 3 more tanks, yeah. And they're not injured from an urban blight, of course. Pushing forward. Beat up this poor recon. They're gonna need help. You don't never wanna. Yeah, okay. That's not good. I mean the medium tank's kind of protecting them, but I wouldn't want to dive in over here. The mech's gonna be happy, but I'd be more scared of the tank jumping on the city and smacking me. Medium tank might be enough. It is in range, just barely. Let's see. Huge Kindle army just kind of sitting in the middle. This 5 health infantry is going the distance. until he gets interrupted. Okay, we have a medium tank going up here. So both players are having a lot of pressure put on these cities. The middles are completely denied for each other. No air. Oh no, now a Kindle copter. And he had one copter die. Like, I'm done with that stuff. I can understand. The mech's the one capture. Okay. People tend to prefer not to go for mech captures because you prefer your mechs to get first strikes, and you also prefer to have units that can join go for captures, and it's pretty difficult to have a mech join another mech around to join your mech. Hey Nekololita, welcome. Good luck in your own stream too. Scared of trolls under the bridge. I do not have a tier on the Patreon to prioritize replays. I could offer that, but I like it being a free component. The Patreon's mostly there just for general support. Okay, medium tank goes in there. No fear. We have a Neo tank from Kindle, which is going to be very scary. I can definitely see a lot of benefits for Kindle going for the Neo tank. It's going to pretty much one-shot any of Andy's units. These cities are still completely denied. Andy, tons of pressure up here. I am surprised that the copter went for that swing, but it does knock it down to 6, so there's a chance, I think, that the tanks can kill this now. If this guy strikes from the city and 2 from the road, I think it kills the medium tank. If you don't kill a medium tank, then this would be a horrible attack. Yeah, now it's going to die, though. Oh, ooh, doesn't even take this next one. The medium tank going in with no fear ended up being a little nasty. Not a great swing. I think hitting the anti-air probably would have done a little bit more. Just because Andy's about to heal this all the way up to 9. Yeah, for some reason these 2 tanks didn't move. I'm gonna chill on those cities. You do a single swing and then whoop, heal on up. How much did that heal? 16,000. That's pretty good. Strike. Really good job by Kindle to block for this copter. Tank. What's the infantry? I think this could have done a little bit better if you go, like tank kills tank. Maybe that's not going to be. Maybe these 2 tanks are going to go after this tank. In which case, that's fine. But if this tank dies, then an infantry can move up here and finish this off, and the capture can happen. Looks like we're just going to ignore it. Normally, Andy would get this kill guaranteed, but because Kindle has the plus 10% defense from the power, no longer guaranteed. The map teaches you not to overextend is true. It's a little close to base reinforcements, but only the recon's within range of the medium tank. Huge attack in here. Kindle, all with Andy's power active, so no charge gained here. Which is good for Kindle. For both of these captures. Andy getting super attacked over here. We do have a copter to attack this copter. The medium tank actually can't reach anything other than this copter? That's wild. The artillery can fire though. Have it wrapped over here. Looks like we might have this tank come down to reveal this or something. Maybe they, okay, I don't know. Copter swing, and then a medium tank finishes off, I guess. We're gonna interrupt the capture. No. Wow, look at that infantry did a good attack there. We might just be spamming medium tanks. No, just a tank. Oh, going double tank. Okay. I don't think I build the artillery over here. I want to be saving up for a neo tank probably of my very own to fight off this one. Kindle does get the central city. It's been a tough fight to get it. Mission accomplished. Recon gets taken out. Really good use of Kindle's day-to-day. Mr. Warren Buffett gives up on this capture, which I'm surprised by. That's got to be a good feeling for Slyfox, who's going to be able to get this capture. Offset the income. Only for a short time, because I'm pretty sure this capture is uncontestable. But I like... Andy can, at this point, just pounce on these units that have been separated from the main force. And that's pretty good. We see the double medium tank over here, so I would be wanting to run away. Poor medium tank might be a little bit of trouble. Oh no, you gotta jump in here. Medium tank attack, maybe like copter tank attack, something like that. I don't think that would just be 2 kills, but it'd still be nice. Oof, oof. Neo tank, medium tank. Brutal. Neo tank's being good. And he's being pushed back really far. Still doing fine in unit count, just the unit value and tiny bit behind in income now. Yeah, the artillery doesn't cover the tank. Listen, Andy should have built mega so his units don't die. But Andy could go with a bomber or neo tanks of your own. You really don't want to get out teched as Andy, just because then all of your guys are dying in one hit. Or close to it. The Kindle day-to-day is strong. Okay, you get the double artillery shot here, which is nice. Got the kill off. That medium tank does go for just the normal power here. Don't know if that's... Okay, it does get a strike on the neo tank, which is nice. Unfortunately, on some cities here. Oh, actually, only one city. Pretty good. This one can be struck from, though. Copter decides to go for it. And this anti-air can hit this copter. Bloody mess. But not too bad. A lot of the Andy units are still standing. The medium tank recon's a nasty combo up here, for sure. Oh my gosh. When you go for the first strike and almost go negative. Luckily it is Andy, so if you've got a 5 health copter, that can very quickly become a full health copter. Looks like we're just gonna use the normal power again. This is looking a lot like one of my early league matches on this map when I was Andy versus Lash, and I started spamming the normal power. There we go. I don't have to just use the super. But it turns out saving up for the super is oftentimes way more impactful. And here we go. Some very nice pickoffs. Saving the city. I mean, Kindle's been pushed back pretty far. There's still a medium tank recon way up here that's not fighting, which is very good news for Andy. Join cap's pretty nasty. Got capture threatened here, and Neo tank just joined the game. Still no huge answer for Andy for these Neo tanks. Oh, this one's gonna get bombed by artillery, which is good. I think we're going for another Andy normal power. Desperate times call for desperate measures. That's 7 health. Oh, it's a full health tank. Kills it. Interrupt over here. We might see the copter come up here to try and save this. Nice little boost. Kill off that tank. The copter try and save. Don't attack with the copter there. No. Very painful. Pretty sure that wasn't worth it. Gave so much charge to Kindle, the attacks weren't exactly favorable. It loses this poor city. I think gets taken out. Still staying in there. The Urban Blights at this point. This is why you don't just Urban Blight on cooldown. Like that Urban Blight happened at the end of Kindle's turn, and the only thing it did was hit the units on production. Oh, Jesus Joy. Okay, now the Neo tank died, which is good. There's just one heavy vehicle left for Kindle. But a 5k income lead is pretty strong. Although this city probably will fall soon. Back into Andy's clutches. Kindle might be getting a little too aggro here. Setting the anti-air in first like that. Okay. Kindle does manage to deny the city for now. Let's go for this strike into artillery range. It always hurts. Medium tank just kind of walk in here. Well, Andy can get some nice swings this turn. No super available, but okay. All the anti-airs get taken out. Probably, I guess it's a fine to send the 6 health copter way up there. I'd try preserve it a little bit more, personally. Just because Andy be Andy. I guess this is the idea is like, well, I want my opponent to retreat from this city, so I'll send my unit over here to get taken out. But I don't know about that. I prefer to keep them nice and safe and ready. Take a city back. A lot of Kindle infantry is kind of getting sent forward here to their doom. And he does get a city. This mech, very key. It spots the infantry. I don't know if the infantry is spotted or not. Yeah, it spots the infantry, and now there's the infantry go for the city capture. The mech can follow. Another Andy normal power. I'm not so sure about that. I'm prepared to be impressed. I mean, that was a pretty nice turn. Copter gets taken out, so it's kind of like a copter for a copter. You get the Urban Blight. Yeah. The Kindle urban blights have started looking much worse. Although if this gets cleared off, then a tank can strike from the city. Ooh, that doesn't even deny this capture. Good on you, Andy. That will hurt. I'm surprised that artillery actually lived. A plus 10 defense doing its thing. And he does get this city now only down 2k income, which if this gets captured will completely flip. Starts to retreat. Run away. Sounds good to me. Helicopter used for scouting. Does have a vision range of 2, and it flies. That is definitely not worth it. No anti-air over here, so these copter attacks are also pretty strong. Although I think they're still pretty gutsy, because this is pretty much Andy-dominated, and I would personally expect there to be an anti-air. The bases are right here. But there isn't one, so it's fine. And he does get this city back, so the economy has been equalized. Got the tanks. Got the copter. I think it's down to 1. This tank, things are looking nice. Lots of injured Andy units, which Andy enjoys for sure. Medium tank moves on out of here. It was almost out of fuel. Kindle can start capturing this city and do it like a double block if need be. Join cap instead. Kindle's running really low on units. Does get the kill on that tank, which is nice. Still no anti-air over here. But man, are these units far forward. Okay. Judging by how this game has been going so far, I think that and he's going to use another normal power. I guess this is fine. The thing is, with the infantry, you usually want to have it here instead of here, just so the artillery could go here, and then it'll be covering this tank. But if you want to put the artillery up here to cover this capture with the mech, then you can do that too. Now goes that copter. This tank should be known about. You can have the copter check for it. You finish it off, or at least. Okay, now we have an anti-air on the way. We do have our urban blight. Smacking the poor mech around. Down goes that tank. Down goes this copter. That's probably a very gutsy move. I do like this 1 health tank spying on the base, though. Air units doing work, diving in real deep. So Andy super online. Means we'll probably see an Andy normal power, judging by how this has been going. And there we do. Boop, boop, boop. And there were a lot of units to heal. Looks like this capture is going to go through. Kindle's going to get back into a nice income lead. Poor mech does die. Nice copter harassment by MrWBuffet. Focuses down the anti-air. Very good. Just to try and get a unit composition win. This tank does get taken out. We do have an anti-air from here now. And another one from here. Okay. If Andy's very careful with the copters, then they should be able to beat Kindle's copters. It's just, if Andy's ever next to a city, then Kindle can get just one-shots with the copters. Kindle is very bold. Diving in real deep. Something you can do, especially as Andy, is instead of going like anti-airs and copters to try and fight a bunch of copters, you can build a fighter. Because usually if someone's spamming a bunch of copters, they'll have 1 or 0 anti-airs. And that means that your fighter just won't die. Unless it's next to a city and an anti-air strikes from that. But otherwise, it will live in the anti-air attack and give you a ton of charge to then use your super as you just poke away at all the copters. Just something to keep in mind as an option. You save this city. Smack around some copters. Anti-air defending over here. We got anti-air defending over here. This one's a little exposed, but I don't think there's any way for Kindle to actually hit it. Okay. It does hit this copter on the HQ, which might get finished off by this 9 health copter now. These attacks, not super great. Unless Andy doesn't use the super. If it's just normal power, it's probably fine. Wow, is that gutsy. Well, I guess Andy probably can't reach the super this turn. Ooh, kills off the recon. How mean. If Andy could get the super this turn, I think it would be a really strong attack. But even with the normal power, healed a ton of cash, ton of value. Goes down. Recon goes down. Looks like the city capture will go through Kindle. Andy's putting forward an attempt to immediately take it back, swap it back. Yeah, I don't know if it would have been possible to delay the normal power there, because the super was starting to look very, very good. Rest in peace anti-air, rest in peace artillery. The anti-airs keep falling. People's doing a very good job of trying to win by army composition. Just be like, I've got a bunch of copters and you have no way of hitting them. So far, doing very well with it. Okay, Kindle's now up 6k. Another copter strike from a city onto a tank. Copter meets copter. And the anti-air dies again. Tanks do die for it, though. There's a bunch of cleanup over here by Andy, which is something you definitely need to do. Anti-air is now here to try and deal with this copter. But 6k income lead is very good, although Kindle has been in this spot before. Also, while being down in unit count. These did not go well. This copter's not going to be happy. That tank, there goes that infantry. And we've got some more infantry going for these captures. Up the mech. Artillery fall back. If Kindle dives into this, it could be real bad. Andy didn't use the normal power here, so we could see super. Here goes the urban blight that will let this tank strike from the city and just like one shot like so, which is pretty good. I don't know if that's good enough for an urban blight at this stage, but it's pretty good. There gets knocked down to 2. Artillery dies. Oh no, anti-air dies. Oh my gosh. Kindle's so good with getting these composition wins. Although there's only one copter right now in this area, so it's not quite like game ending. Is unlucky. And he's going for the super this time. That capture. We can take the normal tank and take that guy out. Or not. Just gonna try and focus. Okay, now it does. Attack. Focusing a bit on this city capture. Anti-air knocks it all the way down to 1. Very important to hit that with the anti-air instead of just a tank, because Andy, if the tank hits you down to 5, then Andy can just pop the super and get the city anyway. Okay, Kindle's starting to fall back. You love to see it. Does go for a single swing over here. I really would prefer if these anti-airs stopped being accessible on the front lines. I think that's what's getting Andy in trouble. Again and again. Poor medium tank. Rest in peace. Kindle starts capturing this city. Does hit this anti-air. But we'll heal up to 7, so it's fine. Probably dived in a little farther. That's okay. What are you going to do with your Andy super turn? Tragic that this copter's here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It probably won't get hit. Kindle is down again a lot in unit count, but up in unit value and income. So should probably be fine here. Anti-air doesn't find the copter, so that all of that sticking around for that fight is probably going to end up fighting Kindle a bit. Very low in infantry counts here for both players, although Andy's got more, right? 7 to 5, only a little bit. Attacking the front lines. This medium tank, pretty gutsy. He's gonna get taken out here. Good news for Andy. Wow. Double sacrifice. Oh my gosh, the tank lived? That's very unfortunate for Andy. Well, the idea was the double sacrifice and the anti-air can strike it. If Andy gets the info, the anti-air will know it can strike it. That's okay. I would prefer if this anti-air was covering this copter, since it's next to a city. There's already an anti-air down here. Strike. Kindle starts taking this city. We have a lot of artillery. They're going to fire on this medium tank. Pop. Oh, it does end up killing the copter. Okay. Medium tank finished off by the recon. Look at this point for Kindle, you're really far ahead in economy, so you gotta stop charging forward quite so much, and don't do these end of turn urban blights. And he does go for the normal power here. A bunch of Kindle stuff alive at 1 health, and that's GG. That was an incredibly back and forth game. And he decides to go with the missiles. I think there were some early game Kindle plays that really made a big deal. But Andy started playing around the urban blight very, very well. G. I heard there's a mech race happening. I'm gonna try and get 2 more games through here. The other new submitter, and then a bonus Go7 game. We got BangoBongo versus hadokade. Unless this is too long, which is just pass. Is this a tournament game? Oh, it is. We have a tournament game here. Smacky Cup 3. It's the same matchup that I had in my game. I suspect we're not going to see the same kind of game, though. In my game, there was an HQ rush that was thwarted from Adder in the top right against Jake in the bottom left. Doesn't look like we're going to see that this time. Looks like we have a rush on the airport for both players here. Whoa. So I would definitely advise to be loading up into the lander and dropping off up here first. Just because the airport's kind of always there. And these cities can be very contested. Adder, no. Adder forgot to move this infantry. Which is very dangerous. What is this lander doing? Okay, well, the lander wants to be picking up infantry and or vehicles from this base, delivering up here or over here, and then later on you can like pick up an infantry here after you've killed off this recon and go and take the T-copter, or not the T-copter, the comm tower, or you can use a T-copter to do that. I'm in round 3. Wow, that's fast. Oh, no, they're in round 3. It's Mechy. Yeah. Pretty slow. So we have the fast artillery to break this airport. Which is fine. You just gotta keep in mind that this gives a lot of information to your opponent. Although both players are doing it. So Jake has a chance to get a 2-hit KO with the plus 10%. Firepower for being on the planes. If you have the comm tower first, then it will be guaranteed. Okay. Alright. So, Jake's got the right idea. It's just a little off in the timing. Artillery can fire on the recon, and then the infantry can get dropped off. As is, this infantry is going to be sitting in the lander for a little while because the artillery is going to have to move down onto the planes, and the recon is going to move on to the comm tower, so it's going to take 2 shots to kill it. And in the meantime, the lander could be doing this stuff and unloading on this part of the map, getting a ton of captures. In particular, if you can get this corner capture, it can be really annoying to take back. Okay. Ooh, look at that. Jake got the 2-hit KO. Gets the airport. So Adder cannot, well, maybe Adder can, but Adder has a much lower chance of getting that 2-hit KO than Jake does, due to having just missing that plus 10% firepower. I'm not quite sure what's going on here. So we have the T-copter built, but it, like at the cost of a base skip. But the recon's still here, so I'm interested to see. Ooh, I think there's a chance that one-shots. Could be wrong. The recon really should have moved on to the comm tower for the extra defense. Jake moving on out here. Adder should, in theory, have a much better capture phase just because there's been captures going on over here. But there was that turn where the infantry just kind of stood there. So that must have slowed things down a bit. The T-copter goes down. Okay. Not quite sure what the T-copter's... I guess it's going to come and drop down here. Or maybe it's just a full-on rush to this city. You can just kind of walk there after this capture if you want. These captures are possible if you're really prompt. Although there's a possibility of them getting interrupted. If you're like Adder in this case, you're coming down this way. You can potentially get all of these captures. I would fully expect to have one of these get interrupted if you're Adder. So instead, it might behoove you, unless you've got good information on what your opponent is doing, to capture like this one, this one, this one, and then go for this corner city. Is this city in particular is very easy for your opponent to interrupt. They have this forest to attack from and everything. Jake got some luck tips from Nell. Okay. Jake does have one artillery out on the field from breaking this, and we'll have a second one pretty soon. The artillery can be very useful in fighting over here in between these two HQs, which tends to be one of the major... Three shots. One of the major battlegrounds is right in here, fighting over these cities and potentially fighting over these HQs. The artilleries help with the fights here, and they also help to threaten the HQs. You never thought to use the lander for the comm tower? Yeah, you can. It is a little bit pricey to do, just because it does mean your lander isn't moving vehicles up here. Or anything else, really. So I would say it's usually better to just use a T-copter, because shoveling units up into this area is, in my opinion, a much better use of the lander. But you can kind of do what Jake's doing here. So Jake's like sacrificing this entire front by not investing in it with the lander. And you can just send everything over here and try and do a super strong side, weak side kind of dynamic. Okay, so the T-copter was just rushing down to this mountain. It is a really annoying city to take back if there's an infantry standing on it. So I can somewhat understand that. We have the artillery in this forest. Look how annoying that is. It covers this city. It does two things. It covers this city from attacks, and it shoots at any blockers that might be here to protect the capture on this city. Yeah. A freshly built the T-copter can go up and take the comm tower, assuming you take out your opponent's recon. Which I would definitely advise to do at least at some point. It looks like Adder might not be remembering about this, which is very painful. Oh, it's got scattered out now. Yeah. T-copter on his way back. There we go. Recon stands on the comm tower. Take longer to take out. Tank gets a one-shot on that recon tank. Okay, strike. Recon violence. I would have the recon attack first, just because It's going to take far less recoil than an infantry will. Okay. Capture right in front of that copter. No fear. Hey, artillery is set up for this, and we get to take out this tank for against Jake. There's going to get more and more value, and there's a backup artillery on its way. Battery is way ahead in economy game. Oh, the lander just has now figured out, oh yeah, I can go up here. Copter might go down. Oh no! Yeah, Jake thought to just go for the city. Probably should have gone for the interrupt. It would have been a lot safer. That's okay. Get the interrupt over here. This artillery decided to move on this side. You can definitely double up on artillery here and be pretty happy. Though one can definitely also do the job. Both players sitting at a super. The recon decided to move down. It's going to die in one hit anyway to this artillery. So it moves down so it can check to see if there was anything built from that base. Or what was built. Oh. It sees that nothing was built. So that's good information. So if you see nothing is built from one of these bases, it either means that they built stuff from airports or that they teched up in some way. Otherwise, it's usually not worth it to base skip like that. Artillery getting even more value. Okay. Hop into the lander. It dropped out down here. I like it. A little rescue mission. We're going for the block rock. Okay. It does mean 1, 2, 3, 4. It does mean this artillery can fire on this tank. Smack. Smack. See if this copter decides to move forward. It'd be pretty dicey, but possible. I like this more. Going down here. Just try and hold the line up here rather than pushing past it. Sounds good to me. It's a decent block rock. It wasn't like completely obliterating the entire opponent's army, but it wiped out most of the stuff down here. Adder has been sitting on this charge for a long time, so we might see some normal powers. Okay, here comes a side slip. Tank. Did that tank... Wow, that tank survived. Copter. This is why you want that comm tower, my goodness. And tank, wow. Artillery, getting its value. A little gutsy, but I think this actually works out for Adder. But wow, is that diving in deep with that copter? Yeah, tank is to fire, or the artillery is to fire again. Off. Are we just gonna let this capture go through? Kill off that copter, okay. Anti-air. I guess this might do 3. Oh, we're just gonna let it go through. Adder is gonna get that city. We have a medium tank on the way over here. Another anti-air would not be the worst choice. Every time you put an anti-air in the front lines like this, You see a lot of copters from your opponent, especially. Want to make a replacement. Zoom. Infantry taken out. This is going to be a case of... oh, that's a gutsy move. This is a case of Jake has... or is about to have complete control of this area, but just no infantry in range yet. We did step off of this HQ. I assume to strike from it. Like so. That's of course a gutsy move, because now this HQ is going to be much more vulnerable to being captured. Artillery's gonna run out of shots. Triple artillery. Moving out. There we go. Double anti-air. That's more of what you would expect to see in this kind of situation. So many copters from Adder. They do get the benefit from that extra movement. Artillery been broken through. Oh no! Not artillery value. The lander can of course still be used as a blocker. As we see. Medium tank comes in here. I don't know if it really wants to interact with all these copters. We'll see. Yeah, I think I would prefer if this artillery hadn't fired so that the medium tank could attack. I guess this tank can still fall back and attack. I mean, 2 anti-airs are pretty nice. Maybe that's all you need. Maybe one more would be nice, because this is a double copter map, and Adder has been shown to do some serious copter spam. Have the side slip. Bam, bam, bam. Who's after the artillery? It is going to get to shoot. It was a very nice win for Adder to break through and hit these artillery, because they do take a while to replace. For sure. This one there barely survives. Got that copter chilling in the woods. Try and body block for it a bit. Should be good. There's no power generated for Adder during this turn, so that's another upside to this block rock. I love that copter, nice. Jake has a huge unit count lead, 34 to 25. 4 of that is infantry. But Adder is still up 4k. Very nice. Although these cities should start falling soon, and that number will change rapidly. The Neo tank from Adder. Looks like the copter army is being pushed back. So Jake should be given free reign for a bit here to just kind of attack whatever he wants, like so. Provided that the anti-air stays safe. I build another one. Okay, there we go. We'll do it the third one. On its way. Okay, copter goes for a swing on that poor innocent tank. Lander spots for some copters on this medium tank. Looks like it will probably die. Oh, it lives at 1. So we can go back for some repairs. We'll see how many copters end up biting the big one for that. The repairs are pretty sick. Okay. Jake is starting to take back a lot of this economy. One copter goes down. Start the capture. Getting another copter. Potentially the anti-air could go for that one. That's okay. Let's go for that one instead. Yeah, you could have swapped those because then it'd be more likely that all the copters died, but it's not that big of a deal. Probably don't want to fire on the lander unless you're deciding to just stay on the city anyway. Just because the lander gives a lot of charge. Well, I guess at this point, Adder's full on charge, so there's only upside to shooting at it. That's fair. Okay. The corner does get taken by Adder. It does use the side slip here. Huge unit count differences. There's not too many artillery yet on the front lines. So then, oh, never mind. I was going to say, so the Neo tank's probably pretty safe charging in there, but it actually charges onto one of the few tiles actually covered by an artillery right now. Although the artillery is definitely a little overloaded, so it probably won't even shoot the Neo tank that's sitting on an HQ. They'll probably just shoot at a different tank. Okay. So Adder doesn't quite know this, but well, probably does from the in-game stat log. But Jake is way ahead at the end of Adder's turn, even with the power used. Jake is ending Adder's turn up like almost 30k in value and 6 units, none of which are infantry. So things are looking very, very good for Jake. 1, 2, 3, 4. The lander thought could get away, but Jake can still fire on it. They do the block rocks extra range. Did fire on the Neo tank. I don't think that was wise. Unless all the other tanks can just kind of get taken out anyway, in which case, go for it. I mean, you shoot the Neo tank down to 7 on the HQ and it repairs up to 9. I don't know if that really matters too much. Although most of these other tanks are basically dead too, so it's okay. At this point, Adder is in big trouble. To 19 units. Still trying to fight and contest these battles, but now there's nothing really that's going to be able to stop Jake from just standing on Adder's HQ and bringing the artillery behind to beat up on everything that tries to stop the HQ cap. Ooh, Jake should probably start the HQ cap because it just forces Adder to throw stuff at it. T-copter. T-copter blocks while the infantry goes for the harbor capture. Okay, and look, this is a cheeky move. The artillery covers the 2 tiles you can attack the T-copter from on land. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Copters don't even reach. Anti-air gets taken out. Very nice. Very nice for Adder there. You still have another anti-air over here. It takes out one of these copters, but there's still 2. And the rest of Jake's anti-airs got taken out. And this one's probably about to fall. Woohoo, a nice answer. Artillery just stares down this infantry. Neo tank dies to the tank. Doesn't mean that the bomber is going to be able to hit the tank, but it's really not that bad for Jake because it also reveals the bomber really early. Yeah, down goes the anti-air, or at least down to 3. Probably good. Bomber gets revealed. Copter hits the tank, or the artillery over here. It's pretty good. Jake just keeps going for these captures, up 4K in income right now, which is very nice. I assume we're going to see a bunch of anti-airs built here, or maybe even a fighter. A double anti-air infantry copter. That seems pretty good to me. I mean, fighter, infantry is not bad either. There's been so many copters by Adder. So this is a pretty cute attempt. What you could do here is Adder is you can predict that there's a copter on its way and put the T-copter here to try and get the harbor capture. It looks like Adder's the one that's going to be predicting a fighter play. Whoa, Lockrock? Ooh. Jake decides not to interrupt the capture. That's probably fine. Just gotta make sure an infantry goes in range of it. So that you can capture the harbor back right away. Like if this guy hits right there. Let's go over here and shoot the T-copter. Okay, that's fine too, I guess. Okay, harbor has been built here. I don't remember if this harbor has been ghosted or not. In some versions of this map, it's a ghosted harbor, which just means that in the map editor, a country that doesn't exist in the current game has a unit on it, which means you can't build from it. Well, it could have interrupted because the copter was over here. It was moved over here, and then it decided not to. That's okay. Still no HQ cap. I know. The HQ is just sitting there, unguarded. Okay, bomber comes in, gets a smack. It is outside of anti-air range. All good. Jake has 34K in the bank this turn. Lots and lots of little pickoffs here. Got a bunch of anti-airs out and about, searching for a certain bomber. Fighter's gonna have a little bit of trouble finding value here. I guess he's gonna find this copter. Oh, the T-copter runs out of fuel and crashes. So Adder, if Adder wants to, can be very cheeky and build like a black boat here or something. The fighter chose the wrong direction to go. Yeah. And Adder resigns. GG. A very brutal game. Just build a sub. Sink the lander. You could do that. Well played, well played. Both players kind of tackled this in their own way, with Jake understanding like the comm tower dynamic a lot more, it seemed, than Adder did. But Adder understanding like the lander dynamic on the other side more. So that's pretty interesting to see. GG. Okay, I'll give you guys the Go7 game real quick. It's not a serious game. It was just a for fun game. We're a little late. We'll go through this real quick. All right. This is one of the Z games. I joined a bunch of these. Just to mess around with some tier 1s. Or tier 0s, I mean. My opponent has chosen Grit, who's normally banned in all standards. And this is a standard map. Sturm is also banned in standard. You're trying to get a good replay of this matchup in Fog? You're never going to see this matchup in Fog. It's so rough for Grit. And you're going to see why in a standard game. I'm just going to show off with fancy Sturm movement. No one else can do this, walking over 2 mountains to go over to the city, this base. You also don't have to do that. What is this map? Yeah. Usually you kill Grit with recons. And Grit is not allowed to have infantry. Who'd think? Yeah, it's 4 base. I'm indeed a Sturm player, so I am going to build a very early recon. How it goes? Look at that. It almost gets there in time to interrupt this base. That's also because my opponent actually went for this city first. Does have an artillery. Look at that range. Recon's be moving out. Because I'm Sturm, I get to go from this city all the way over here. Although you can walk here and then here. But then from here, I can walk mountains to here. I can walk straight over to this and get this first, which is Sturm perfect movement. I missed a turn 2 recon play to interrupt the base. It probably would have worked, yeah. Well, no, it wouldn't. It only worked. It only worked because, or would have worked because they went for the city first. So you wouldn't want to do that. All right, artillery is defending over here. My recon little harassment over here. Something to keep in mind about Grit is the day-to-day is +1 range, +20% attack on direct units, -20% attack on +20% attack on indirect units, -20% attack on direct units, except for the soldiers. I could have reacted to the city cap, that's true. What if I react to the city cap and then they just walk over it anyway? Yeah, I don't know. It probably would have done something. That's okay. But anyway, Sturm also has -20% attack, but has +20% defense to make up for it. So, Grit versus Sturm is like a Sturm versus Sturm, except one of the Sturms forgot their defense. Yeah, my opponent went for a little double base skip there. Try and get the tanks out to deal with the recons. The recon harassment is going to be pretty extreme. We have another base skip on that turn to try and get these tanks out. These great Grit tanks. The artillery could probably be a little more aggressive, but it's really difficult to be aggressive with your artillery when the recons move their full 8, and they kind of hit artillery pretty decently. What is the river spam by the airport? I know. Sturm gets there faster. More Sturm perfect movement. Okay, we'll get to see some Grit tank on recon action. Yeah. Grit tank hits Sturm recon in the woods, does 4 damage. There's only 5 against the recon on the shoal. It's rough out here for Grit. So I'm gonna start having a decent econ lead here, just because almost every single city that's outside of the immediacy of the bases for Grit is going to be heavily contested and interrupted by the Sturm perfect movement. I lose a recon. And just like in the Sturm mirror, a Sturm recon or a Sturm tank, or in this case a Grit tank, cannot actually interrupt alone a Sturm capture. You need 2 units. Get Zuan in. Probably a little greedy to go after this artillery, but feeling that recon zoom. And here comes some tanks to start supporting the recons and deal with the grit tanks. You can see how far forward I am in comparison to Grit, and that's kind of just how every single time you see this matchup in Fog, and very rarely in Standard it will play out. Where's the Sturm rocket? It's coming, don't worry. So I've got these cities. It's kind of hard to hold on to because there's starting to be a big build up of Grit units over here. We can all be annoying over there. So I'm going to build a Sturm rocket. Sturm's got some of the best rockets in the game because they've got their rockets with perfect movement. So it can very quickly get up here and just kind of chill on cities. My rockets still outrange Grit artillery. And there's also a lot of pressure happening on this HQ up here and all these properties. Now the mechs for Grit don't have that minus to their firepower, so they can kind of threaten recons a bit. At least better than the tanks do. But you can be really aggressive with Sturm, which is how some people play Sturm very defensively, being like standing on the perfect terrain to stack up with your defense. I tend to play very aggressively with Sturm, just kind of in your face in a I've got strong defense. What are you gonna do about it? Kind of an attitude. Yeah. Poor. The tank on the shoal. Lose at 2 health after being double hit. There's the 11k income lead, so the more you can kind of put the pressure. It's pretty rare you'll have an income lead like this, but if you got an income lead like this, you can put a lot of pressure on your opponent to force them to do specific buys, which you can then counter just because you have a lot more money. I'm going to do a Meteor Strike. Pop. That's almost a perfect Meteor Strike. Well, not perfect that it hit every possible tile, but it hit a lot of stuff. And this is another reason that Grit really doesn't like fighting Sturm. Is Grit likes to group up indirects, and Sturm loves to have a bunch of grouped up indirects to attack. There was a slight misplay there. I could have had a better breakthrough, but it is what it is. The infantry keep marching. So we'll start capturing all these cities. And I saved up cash last turn so I could build a mega tank, because there's very little Grit can do against a Sturm mega tank walking towards their lines. And that's not actually a draw. I think they might have just timed out, but GG. Sturm against Grit. It's rough. It's rough out here. Hope everyone enjoyed. I'm heading off to bed. I did go 50% longer than I thought I would, but that's okay. It's some big games. I give you all an apple, and I'll be back for Wednesday. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye.
It's Go7. the penguins. Of all the penguins, he is king. It's Go7, king of the penguins. Being king of the penguins.